Title of this, these are Earth Rights. Um, I was trying to go live earlier. I was gonna go over some cultural um, things for the women from the land, try to spark their understanding of how they assert their powers on the land. Right, but they wouldn't let me go live on the other page. I'm surprised that I can even go live on this one. But since I'm here and we here, I'm gonna go over Earth rights. So when they hear me talk about the right to the Earth rights, these is the right to the Earth magic keys, which means every family got their own setup as to how they teach their children to harness the energy in the family line. That's called familial magic. And the daughters is priestesses, princesses, and they're going to eventually grow up to become a mother and a queen mother in their family line. So in the Earth rights, the hereditary information from an oral tradition keeping people will always ring across the land no matter what culture takes over. So the people in the from the land create energy signatures and this have side effects to that to that energy. So it's going to produce the readable effect for when you learn the culture, you be able to read it. So my phone, piece of shit, been fucking up, so I haven't been live, and I haven't been on since I went over the blueprint for mobilizing your towns for taking over with Catherine Irvin. One of the things I noticed in the aftermath while I was listening to the effect of the video is there's a lot of the sisters that they want their shit back, but they want royal privilege, but the royalty had been deposed, so you're not born with royal privilege, so nobody ain't gonna bring you your shit and give it back to you. But there is what you call royal rights, earth rights, things that the women do to harness the community's energy that raises her spiritual level, rank, status in order to make the physical world recognize that you are the rightful heir to that jurisdiction. So you're going to naturally want to form those bridges. And the goal now is to get the organic women from the land. I wouldn't give a fuck if damn foreigner don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. The organic women to the land need to be inspired to communicate that we the original people of this land. And at any time we organize our local government, we can take back this town, and the side effect is going to trigger it everywhere. Because we ain't under we people of the United States pledge all that bullshit no more. That corporate jurisdiction, corporate entity known as the United States is now defunct. It does not operate in truth anymore. Any appearance of government is merely a puppet show to make the people believe there's still a structural government in place when that old corporate jurisdiction has been long overthrown and dismantled. The only way we can assert our jurisdiction on the land is by being boastful, overbearing, and exercising our birthright by organizing the people around us according to the principles of organizing the community to take it back. The one who organized it may not be the one running the town, but they'd be the one represent the town as the ambassador to the capital, right? And then when they get to the capital, they going to tell the will of the people of the town who they want to run the current lines of demarcation to be changed. But in the meantime, we using what's there to assert the jurisdiction in step-by-step language. We got cultural practices that we do, but now we need to know why we do them. So in any given one of our communities, anywhere in the country, no matter how rural, whether it's the inner city or the suburbs, whether it's a little old small hick town or a massive metropolis, it don't matter. You're going to see teenage girls and boys walking the streets in their local neighborhood. This is called trekking the land. The bump around, what we call it back then, the introduction of new people on the land to each other that you didn't know was there before, is building those connections where they build their most loved, most respected status in order for them to be able to call the team together at any given time to restore the tribes. So the girls naturally do this. Any tribal communities or people that's earthborn, wherever we at on this planet, our teenagers is going to be roaming the streets, establishing dominance among their peers in fist fights, in games, sport arenas, games. Sports was used to control the outlet, to give a control outlet to the natural destructive testosterone burst of the teenager, right? Or in the young adult. Because that testosterone burst is not tempered with wisdom yet. If you don't give them a set of guidelines, then you don't control the outlet. It comes out in what we call self-hatred. Because you're trying to establish dominance among your peers. What this looked like, a government-induced exaggeration of this struggle to be recognized on the land, it looks like black-on-black violence, white-on-white violence, Asian-on-Asian violence, because they struggling for dominance among their peers, but the government told them, y'all should kill each other about it while we watch y'all kill each other. And we didn't know while they was telling this that they wasn't part of who we was or how we operate on the land, and that foreign entity was able to turn us against each other through a campaign known as Divide and Conquer, using some shit called religion and politics. All these is tools divide and conquer, right? So we be sitting back, we looking at the community and we not doing nothing about it. Everybody gonna say, what Farrakhan gonna do? What the fuck you want him to do? What Jesse Jackson gonna do? What you expect that nigga to do? Do you know how to seize control of government and power? They might not know how to do that. But everybody looking for somebody else to do the work. But when it comes time for it to be explained, where you can do your little conquering in your area and it can have a ripple effect to conquer the whole thing back. All we trying to do is activate the continuity of government relief era. The continuity of government relief era is everything is paid for with over $100 trillion worth of available resources just for the people of Turtle Island to restore their land, air, and water according to the Great Law. They can't stop us from doing this because the universe will lash back at them energetically and wipe their ass out, and they don't want that, so they want us to do our part. The goal now is to get the girls that's coming up, those young girls with the fire in their soul, to get their shit back, to understand the processes of organizing and where you take over first in order for a massive takeover. I'm gonna steal the fucking beans on how to take over the power of our shit, using our shit to take our shit back. You don't need nobody permission to take your shit back. You just need to know the steps. The only person permission you need to take your shit back is yours. And the easy way to do it is to link with everybody who want their shit back. All of us that's organic to this land, the Turtle Island, North South America, geography, from the Samoan Islands to the Tonga. This shit is being done in other countries in real time. China been done with this shit 2 years ago, 3 years ago, when they seized the motherfucking charter to the Communist Republic of China and relieved the Communist Party and installed something called the New China Republic. Now it's called the People's Republic of China. It's no longer the Soviet Socialist Republic of China. So, and we not even paying this shit no attention, right? But they did. The mothers knew the tribal leaders, that was the women over there, because they have the same cultural process to reclaim the land. It's a blueprint that we already got. It's our shit. This is how you assert your jurisdiction. So you see those girls and the boys, teenagers walking around in the community, if they ever find out that when they bump into somebody, they bump straight and they make a mutual agreement to not kill each other in the name of the system, that automatically wipes out their government. By making those connections, raises the status of most loved, respected, because now you most loved and respected by yours and what you thought would have been your ops, the other side of the family. They ain't your ops. They just don't know we supposed to bump into each other in the street on hostile terms and then draw to, that's the process of learning how to implement diplomacy on the land. When a vice lord bump into a GD on the street and they able to have a conversation without feeling that you being disrespected, and they able to say, man, I know the vice lord's been around a long time. I can trace him back to the 50s. To bikers and MCs, what they call motorcycle clubs, nomads on the land. I can trace them motherfuckers back to when there was no iron horses and they had to drive the real horses, and they was given charters from Big Mama to roam the land as nomads as long as they keep the civilians out their business. And when I trace them back up to the modern day, I end up with what we call biker clubs, the MCs, motorcycle club. And every one of them motherfuckers recognize the blueprint for the law of the land by having every biker club got a queen. Every biker club got a queen. You motherfuckers fuck with the queen, they have your fucking head. Every one of them. Why are they doing that? Why are they set up in that matter? They practicing the rules given to them by Big Mama to always remain under the protection of a queen while they traversing the land. And that's why they always tie back to the MC, the 13, the 313. It always tied back to the right hand of Big Mama, and that's how we able to trace the work of the clans being mislabeled by the government by knowing the symbols of the clans before the government was ever here. We can follow them right back. We can follow them all the way right back. We know that the C is a U on this side. By creating the Crip, you created the Pyru. All you did was flip some shit around and turn their ass upside down and sick them on each other. COINTELPRO ass shit. Infiltration of the government by government agents. Motherfuckers that look like us but don't got no motherfucking love for us whatsoever. So now, when we talk about the sisters building these... Right now, we just want the organic women on the land, the mothers. The ones that are earth talk to you and say, this is your shit. And you can't figure out why you can't get your... Why am I born? Your life is a cover story until you wake up to who you are. When you wake up to who you are, you blow your own cover. They call that a butterfly busting out of a motherfucking cocoon. When you become social with the society around you, you be part of the motherfucking community development. And as part of the community development, the society or the hive develops over the city, and energetically, that's how you bring the Sweetwater back home. You make them connections, them honeycomb connections in your community with the mothers. We tired of our babies coming up missing, and when they find them motherfuckers, they've been milked for some shit called adrenochrome. They've been turned into sex toys. They've been motherfucking used for psychological and psychiatric experiments. They've been cut open and used as guinea pigs and motherfucking frogs in the laboratory to study their innards while they still fucking breathing to see if this shit work like the motherfucker in the book say that it worked. And who's gonna speak up for them motherfucking babies if the mothers don't speak up? Because then they got these motherfuckers thinking that a man can actually give birth to a baby. Means you motherfucking kidding me? Artificial matrix wombs create artificial intelligence. You put some shit in a man and it come out as a baby, that motherfucker got a dark soul to it, and that motherfucker gonna be a problem. If you make a man carry a baby, you are creating some shit that won't have a soul to it, and that motherfucker gonna be dark as fuck, because it's not natural. It's that much of unnatural. Y'all don't believe me, but you can math that shit and it's gonna make perfectly good sense. The auric field of the man is not designed to transfer birth energy or molding energy in the womb into a creative force. When you change the auric resonance like that, it ain't like cutting open a motherfucker and putting an artificial uterus in them. You fucking with the spiritual matrix of the onset of something coming into this 3D. You opening up a portal for some shit that a motherfucker would call a demon. But that's not what a demon is. These is dark entities. Dark entity is not a demon. A demon not a dark entity. A demon is a subconscious egregore that takes its own motherfucking form based on your fears. That's your shit. That's your dirt coming back to get you as your personal demon. That's that motherfucking black cloud you carry around over your head, and every weird thing you touch turn to shit. That's what that shit is. But when they create a motherfucking soul matrix through an artificial jump, they not creating something that's like the rest of everything in creation. Because it doesn't come from a normal process. This is the difference in being organic and inorganic. Inorganic shit has a negative spiritual polarity, and that's what makes it become destructive to the physical organism. It's the synthesis of energies. It's the process and the transformation of energies. It's like fucking, if a motherfucker put a big ass goddamn dog in a cage with a big ass cat and don't expect to fight and they ain't never seen each other before, they wasting their motherfucking God powers by experimenting on some shit when you already know the outcome. The lion's gonna kill the dog in 2.5 seconds and it's over. Ta-da. If it's a hyena, if he's in his pack, he stands a chance, but by himself, the lion gonna break his motherfucking back in 2.5 seconds. The story is what the story fucking is. And when the women start, right now we trying to inspire the women that's native to the land. The organic ones that's tied to the earth. The ones that know they was born to be the queen over here, not in Europe. Not in the Buckingham Palace, not in the Vatican, but over here. They know they came from motherfuckers that was wearing feathers in their head, hopping around the fire, saying, woo, 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 hey, y'all, hey, y'all, hey, y'all, calling them ancestors to come rock this bitch if the shit don't get right. If y'all know y'all tied to that shit, and you ain't come over here on no motherfucking ship, you wasn't packed like no goddamn sardines. And when that story was created, you was already here. Them sisters, you have a birthright to inherit at the close of the age this shit back. It's there. It looked like it's a government running. There's no government there. That's some Wizard of Oz, man behind the curtain ass shit. There are women in the local community. We just trying to get enough of them talking. One of them gonna strap her ovaries on, and she gonna say, hey, it's a small town with a female mayor that's already organic to the land. All she have to do is call the press conference, produce the charter, produce the key to the city. She already organic to the land. She got an absolute matriarchal right to take the land over at any time the grievances is about the babies. You can. That's beyond your constitution. This is the sovereign rights of the mothers of the land. Somebody should have been told these sisters that shit. Been told y'all that shit. And they all sitting here twiddling their thumbs because they don't know how the matriarchy operates. And they scared to tell y'all because then we not allowed to be racist, to be sexist, to be hate mongers, to mistreat people, to throw people away like trash. We ain't allowed to do that under the matriarchy. Under the matriarchy, the only thing you allowed to do if you see something that's going to help a motherfucker get to his best life and you can give aid and assistance, you give it while you can, and motherfuckers see you rising, they going to help you do the same. The fact that we getting y'all to remember that y'all the mothers of the earth. The women native to this land is the mothers of the earth. If y'all remember that esoterically, they call y'all the daughters of Isis, and the 12 tribes of Isis make up what's known as the 12 royal families of the earth, who inherits the earth where their biblical quote is, and the meek shall inherit the earth, is talking about the matriarchs who got the birthright to the land and have an absolute right at the close of every age in the interest of the next 7 generations to come, as we've heard Mama Mashpee Bear explain on the Young Elder Show. Y'all got an absolute right to close all forms of government that's not conducive to the benefit and welfare of the children for the next 7 generations, and all y'all have to do is organize. So then I will have to explain to you the easy way to organize or the constructive way to organize, because the smartest thing is to take over the smallest city first. All you trying to do is get to activate the continuity of government funds from FEMA, because they, in the continuity of government, return the land back to the chiefs. The chiefs become activated when they see the mothers starting to move into these positions of power called mayor. If you already got a female mayor, and she's already tied to the land, and she know what tribe she from, she say, this motherfucking lady, I'm Lady motherfucking Godiva, the Freedom Rider from the motherfucking Chickasaw Indians out of the goddamn south of New Orleans, and we are here in this city of buttfuck Michigan in order to tell you that we are relieving the interim government of their duties of giving us state support because they have been unsuccessful. And they are no longer in possession or jurisdictional right to practice on the land. And the law of the land say that as the mother of the land, in this town I can put this village back together, and this right here is all I need to access the FEMA continuity of government relief. They ain't gonna tell you because they don't want you to know. So I'm going to tell you everything they don't want you to know. So if y'all just so happen to do some shit that way, like-minded sisters clicking up, saying, hey, this is my shit. I got the first right to the earth rights. That means you got the first right to enforce the great law. And that the chiefs have already been appointed. We already showed you that that's already on public record. Notice the agent, notice the principal. The Pope called everything back. That means there's no economic support to none of this, what we call governmental systems of nationals and nationalized citizenry. and subjects to the Crown of England under the maritime jurisdiction. This the law of the land. When any city, the city make up the city government. You ain't supposed to have nobody from another city in your city government. If they don't live in that city and they in your city government, y'all infiltrated. Y'all infiltrated. That's what happened to Kwame. He got infiltrated. Got niggas in city government in Detroit that ain't supposed to be there. And they know how to put the obstacle in his path in order to make him fall. I couldn't believe his advisors was that goddamn dumb, but I didn't realize that our people was deceived because a motherfucker look like us, they think they us. And all skin folk ain't kinfolk, and they show it to you. But then they use pale faces to hide their dirty hands. Like we don't see the black hand under the KKK robe. Nigga, we smarter than that shit now. We smarter than that shit now, y'all. Can't run that shit on us no more. They say that the motherfucking Spaniards brought the horse over here. But the horse been here the whole fucking time. Where the fuck you think they from? Then I was reading there saying that if we had horses over here, we was considered an industrialized civilization and the crown had no rights to invade. But they did the shit anyway. Then they lied and said we didn't have no horses. They slaughtered all the bisons in the biggest bloodletting ritual they could conjure up on the land in order to put all of the motherfucking people to sleep. In a massive bloodletting ritual. Millions of motherfucking bison. And Tatanka, the big bull bison, the one that run that motherfucking show, they, we used to call the animals, we used to relate to them as a brethren soul. The bison is sacred to the people with the bison hair on their head. The motherfucking true buffalo soldier. The motherfucking dreadlock Rasta. Not the goddamn fake buffalo soldier. That pink-skinned motherfucker that don't have nothing to do with us, that they pass off in the masquerade as if he was a buffalo soldier, a Fred Flintstone, a caveman pretending to be a motherfucking god on the earth. No. Go pull that motherfucking shit up and look at the old buffalo lodges that we used to have that they done tore down now. Makeshift and turn them into goddamn Masonic lodges, Shriners, shrines, and all that bullshit. So they don't want you understanding that the most powerful Bovian on the land was the symbol of that land. This used to have big ass motherfucking elephants on it. They wasn't like a African or Asiatic elephant. Their trunks was much more majestic, and they were more closely related to woolly mammoths than these modern elephants. But they don't tell you that they killed them off before the bison, because they don't want you to know, because that's where this is why it's so prominent for the sisters in our community to get elephant. They want you to think that shit came from Africa. We had fucking elephants right over the fuck over here. Motherfuckers recognize that shit. They digging up the bones of goddamn ancient mastodons all over this bitch, and ain't nobody asking no questions, and don't nobody want no answers. I'm just too goddamn nosy to know why are our people so attached to these totems, and these totems carry energy from family lineages that go way back to ancient times, and I want to know why nobody's telling us about this shit. So I'm nosy. I'm going to go find out, because there might be a reason. And if I discover that the reason they killed the bison off and the reason they killed the motherfucking mastodons off, so they don't want us to know that was how we use as a pattern to talk across the land of how to redeem the land. The bison is representative of the Tatanka soldier, those motherfucking Cheyenne chiefs, those ghost walkers from where we call the Grand Canyon. Those ghost walkers who walk right in front of you, but you can't see them right in front of your face, because the powers of their energy is so strong, you don't want to see them. You willfully neglect to see them because of the power they emitting. You decide that you'd rather not see them and then go crazy seeing that goddamn level of power. That's why they always talking about in the book, no man seen God face to face and live. No, it's not that no man has seen God face to face and live, because surely Job say, this day I have seen God face to face and my days shall be eternal. So they don't always mean that shit. They only mean that shit when they mean the motherfucking foreigners coming in to replace us, faced with the wrath of the God of this land that they call Tahuti, and piss off the wrong goddamn nigga. And when these sisters conjure that nigga up, he gonna tell them how to assert the jurisdiction of their power every goddamn way they can find it. So one thing leads to another. I'm put that shit in the public domain because one of these sisters gonna tell another sister that's gonna tell another sister, and then they gonna say, wait a minute, we need to tell more sisters. Because when you realize we talking about, ain't nobody gonna give you your power back, because the process it takes for you to be worthy to receive your power is the steps exactly that it takes to come into your power. So when I give you a blueprint on how to capitalize on the city government, which is a government that's the easiest for the sisters to take over, because every household can be represented because everybody got a mama. And can't nobody tell mama that it makes sense to feed 3 babies when there's 62 other babies over there starving and we got enough food to feed them all. You can't tell no mother why they not eating. You can tell some fucking idiot patriarchal fool who believe that the survival of the fittest is the way to raise these children, and he gonna believe that the 3 that got it is the ones whose parents earned it and fucked them other 62, but it don't work that way. If you feed them other 62, nigga, you feeding the army of the future. And if you feeding them with the knowledge of self, then you not only feeding them for the future, you loading that goddamn gun up to send a bomb of self-awareness explosions throughout the community to bring everybody back home. Everything got to start with the home. So we start at home. We start with our city, neighborhood, block. Break that shit down. Call it, have the conversation until it activates the call. Y'all will remember once y'all start making the connections, because it's going to unfold to you many lifetimes before, where you had to try to reclaim the land from some fucking buffoonery. Only nothing as bad as this shit here. This shit is a 911 red alert, hot grease on a motherfucking monkey back, scalded ape running down the goddamn street ass emergency. That's what this shit is. This the worst shit. This the worst shit. Kwanzaa Kunjufu wrote the book State of Emergency, and he was fucking right. This is a state of emergency. This is the motherfucker that set the motherfucking monkey back on fire. Everybody in the goddamn clan got to hear this shit. It's us against us now. It's against our ignorance versus our desire to be back in power. You're going to take the steps. I'm telling you, if you can call women's groups, call your sororities, call your motherfucking mothers against drunk driving, lobbying group, and y'all making these, there's an absolute right of the mothers of the land, according to the law of the land of Turtle Island. At any time that the jeopardy of the next 7 generations is a detriment, in order to restore the land and the people back to balance, there's an absolute right of the mothers to assert their jurisdiction on the land as a collective voice to say enough is a fuck enough. There is no law that can override it. It is the highest law of the land, and the land is matriarchal domain. That's why they had us under admiralty jurisdiction, so you never know. There is nothing they can do when the mothers of the land, and then y'all got what we call guests on the land, and those mothers also agree with you, contributes power to the underlying reality that if the mothers don't reclaim the land, they are going to destroy our children, which 7 generations won't survive. You have an absolute right that they cannot stop to start taking the steps to reclaim the land. And they can't stop y'all. The matriarchy is the top of the cap. The circus tent with the flag is already waving. We just waiting on them to set up the posts around the land for the rest of the tent to go up in order to be covered by the motherfucking house of the motherfucking Most High Queen of Heaven and Earth herself. Coming out the goddamn clouds like a motherfucking bride adorned for her motherfucking groom. Unless you a gay-ass motherfucking Catholic, then you looking for a cross-dressing man. A Statue of Liberty, gave by France. Where the Eiffel Tower stood, where the man once lived. In Paris, was looking out the Parthenon and wondering what the fuck is going on. Blood in my motherfucking eyes, say Mrs. Jackson, because these motherfuckers can't get right. Their minds is overwhelming the motherfucking capability of their asses. They don't know that if they don't take back their shit, there's nobody to run this bitch. So we come and tell y'all. So, the act of getting those mothers together. Hey, did you know that if an organic woman to this land decide that she want to go on a campaign to recover the land from whatever system is in place because it's not conducive to the children for the next generation, at the close of the age, you have an absolute right, according to the law of the land, to restore earth according to the matriarchal right to protect the child. That's the highest law to man. Any man who understands the mother's right to protect her child then becomes the protector of the mother and her rights to protect the child, even to his own detriment. Even to his own detriment. I'll die before I let you take away the mother's right to protect her child. Fuck that bullshit. It's not going to happen on my watch. I'm not going for it. It's the most feared protective mechanic to click in place in the psyche of the human species because it's the only unified, universal connecting mechanism across all of humanity. It's the mother's right to protect her child. And this is what made just because you had a man with his chief, he earned that shit. But he had to be recognized as he earned it by all of these goddamn mamas. Somebody mama had to test this nigga to see if he's a fucking buffoon or a goddamn worthy motherfucking chief. Because if we ain't been tested, how the fuck we gonna show ourselves approved? Explain that. How I'm gonna show I'm worthy to run my goddamn shit, right? If I don't put myself before the people to be examined to see if I even know what the fuck I'm talking about. You can't have a motherfucker running shit and don't even know what the fuck he talking about. I can describe this shit in 2 words. What the fuck did he just say? And he running shit? Oh, he ain't running nothing. That's guaranteed proof right there that he ain't running nothing. Somebody running some shit, but I guarantee you they don't got no dementias of Alzheimer and they ain't humbling and fumbling over no goddamn words. I can tell you that. Whoever it is behind the scenes pulling the string when we pull this curtain down on motherfucking Emerald City and see the motherfucker driving the ship, I guarantee you that motherfucker is well spoken. And I guarantee you by making himself look legitimate is what made you think that motherfucker was legitimate, even though he was the fraud the whole time. Even though he was the fraud the whole time, you thought he was legitimate because the paperwork said so. And they wrote a beautiful anthem, right? And they made a beautiful motherfucking celebration to commemorate some dumb shit. I ain't the one to talk, so you ain't heard it from me. So the real goal is the 100 monkey effect, but on a more amplified level. The energy from certain thoughts triggers certain energy centers in the body. The energy centers in the body talks to the earth, and the earth talks to the body. The messages come in from the sun and the stars from different angles of light, which activates different angels of life. And each one of these comes out into a matrix of mental creation, a projection of the mind of creator, into this reality under the laws of science. And these hermetic laws or hermetic principles tells you about keeping the balance and restoring the balance. The historical record of the human is a strange phenomenon to discover the demonization, the villainization, the corruption of the falsification of the stories about all of the great matriarchs in the history of the human record. They have all been turned into motherfucking harlots, unsavory women, undesirable women, the worst character, motherfucking miserable bitches, and all of this shit for a reason. And nobody won't tell me why, so I'm gonna come to my own fucking conclusion based off my observation of the situation, my understanding of what took place, as to come up to why they did it. So if you corrupt the value of all of the matriarchs of history, you turn all of the matriarchs, you slap a beard and say it was a man. And then you turn around and tell the people that God created a man before he created a woman, which is physiologically and genetically impossible. And it goes against all of the known laws of nature, or the constant showing you over and over that the woman can produce babies without the aid of the man, but the man can't produce no babies without the aid of the woman. We know this to be scientifically provable and undeniable scientific facts. We know about parthenogenesis and motherfucking spontaneous impregnation, and we know about the motherfucking energy centers and chakras. And if the egg get in the wrong field of energy while it's in the uterus, the motherfucking root chakra and the stomach chakra, emotional center, will arc through that motherfucking egg and make that motherfucking nucleus start agitating until it has to split itself apart to try to get a fucking breath of fresh air. And when it split itself apart, it's going to turn into a whole set of two cells, and then it's going to say, oh, we cells now. So then some shit that's called a motherfucking stem cell gonna start producing stems for every part of the motherfucking baby that is producing through this process of parthenogenesis where ain't no man involved. And when you start realizing that the creative forces of God is in the uterus of the great mother, prime creator, and she's doing this shit in her own uterus with her own goddamn mind in order for her to create the motherfucking genetic makeup of what the whole of creation is. Because just like we got genes, creation got genes. We call them things that's different than what Mother Nature called them, but all it is a spiraling down effect of creation. Everything gonna have to converge into 3D in order for it to be broke down to the 2D put in writing. So when the women understand how a Tesla coil works, so if all you sisters look at a Tesla coil and look at all the energy that 369 is harnessed through the energy field, and understand that your uterus is a 369 Tesla coil musical bell that plays a very specific frequency as you move your body, and all of your energy centers become musical instruments that plays a rhythm that they call harmony of the universe. As the body moves, it moves the energy on a microscopic level, giving some shit called a butterfly effect that caused the Mandela effect. And from the Mandela effect, we know that Winnie was the motherfucking rider the whole time. And Winnie flipped Winnie motherfucking Hoover, which is the rider with Larry. And that's a motherfucking GD knockoff of 7-4 on 3 motherfucking 60 on a knock to a knockback. Monkey flipping around this bitch. Tell these motherfuckers how to get rich. Make these motherfuckers bow down and give you your motherfucking shit. You already rich, you just didn't know you was. But your motherfucking shit been there the whole time. They been monitoring us using the motherfucking clock of destiny. Shout outs to CMB, Charles Mosley Bay, because once you tune in the clock of destiny, you phone in the motherfucking microscope on the genetic makeup of the rightful heirs to the earth. And if you're not mitochondrially synced to the earth, and you don't control mitochondria because you don't give it away to a motherfucker that can pass it back to you, then you are the one who can control how much love energy is about to hit this bitch when this motherfucking solar storm come in the next couple of months. And when this motherfucker come in and these women been making the moves in their motherfucking dormant subliminal memories of putting this shit together come back to mind. The first law of preservation in a matriarchal society is to protect the child. When they realize that puts them at the top of the pinnacle. If you a bad mother, sorry for you, sister, but your motherfucking vote don't count. If you are a piece of shit mother, your vote don't count. You don't count. Because your kids don't count. When you in the right mother energy, your vote count 100%. And it carries the vote of the whole family that you represent. Because you know how many souls that you represent when you speaking up. What family you speaking up for. And all of that energy becomes sent to a central focus in order to produce in a singularity the needs of the people being met. The protection of the child for the next 7 generations is where we at. We laying the foundation right now. I'm just telling y'all the processes to build your own personal energy up. So you won't become frustrated trying to do business with the dead system that cannot accommodate the living individual. There's a new emerging birth to a new reality coming into being. And the women becoming aware of a certain matriarchy throughout the land becomes critical because the matriarch right to protect the children is the overriding right because it protects our future. That cannot be abridged. So when we come in, we use the grandfather clause to institute the matriarchal right to rule. I'm the grandfather. So I'm telling y'all the rule so y'all can use it. I'm the old man in the goddamn forest, the man in the cave, the old man in the river, old man winter, whatever the fuck. I'm giving you keys because I hadn't successfully inherited the seed of Enki by the blood and the right, birthright, motherland right and fatherland right, X and Y. I'm thy mother and thy father. Don't be trying to take sides in that shit. Family squabble was going on before you was born. You take sides in that shit. You ain't doing no breaking the generational curses. You perpetuating that shit onto your child. You supposed to, no matter what me and your grown ass go through, you my brother, my cousin, my auntie, my sister, and we fall the fuck out. That ain't got nothing to do with these goddamn kids spending time with each other, communicating with each other, but you rotten motherfucker, self-centered motherfucker thing, because you fall out with a motherfucker that none of your kids ain't supposed to know. None of the rest of their family, you dumb motherfuckers. That shit don't fly. You have to be able to see beyond the traps that were set to keep us divided and conquered in order for them to subjugate us. And the most powerful connecting mechanism in any household is a cohesive parent unit. I don't give a fuck what you say. It's good to have a good mother and it's great to have a good father, but when there's no comparison to a functional two-parent family household, when there's two parents raising the kids and they both putting their heart and soul into the child to be the best that the child could be, and you not letting this system fall down on the shoulders of an innocent infant, then that's when you are changing the future in real time. You talk about time travel. How about I crack the whip now, but you don't hear that bitch for 20 years? Right? This is what you're doing. The greatest impact won't be seen until the shit hit motherfucking critical mass, and it won't be able to be stopped at that point. Every man got a motherfucking FEMA continuity of government call tree. They got over $1 trillion in motherfucking resources available when the matriarchy started claiming the land. It's all part of the continuity of government process that's written in the FEMA document, continuity of government, and the rights that the powers that this gives FEMA falls under all of those presidential executive orders of the corporation as it fell apart. So those last several presidents who made the executive orders to transfer the key powers of FEMA in order for them to redistribute the power on the land by the people using the original system of matriarchs raising up in the town to reclaim their town as the catalyst to activate these chiefs across the land. These matriarchs and the chiefs can now, the leadership is in place at the top. We're trying to get the ripple effect of understanding of these sisters. The process it takes of you to reach out to get your shit back is the great magnet that draws your shit right into you. But you have to be willing to become, if you want to be in your greatest capacity as a matriarch, you have to be willing to reach out to people you wouldn't normally talk to only to protect the children. If you keep that as your underlining goal, to protect everybody's baby the same, no matter where you come from. If you on this land, the babies is all under Big Mama protection. And if we exercise the right to Big Mama's protection over all of the babies of the land, then all of the divide and conquer shit gotta go. Because now you can't do nothing that Big Mama don't give you permission to do, whether you like it or you don't like it. We gonna keep this motherfucking shit in the control of the people as a collective now, because by controlling local government is how you motherfucking restore your power base in the whole overall scheme of the government running itself. Eventually, the towns will break up into families because they will always be doing family functions on key days, and you're going to notice it's only going to be one of several places where everybody is for these key family functions. And this is going to determine at each family function, that's how many chiefs running in y'all motherfucking community. High chief just running that 4-feather chief, 5-feather chief, 8-feather chiefs. They all in there. They all in there. Right? So when you start seeing that shit, you're seeing the energy residually organizing itself. As the energy go back to the proper function, it's finding its balance. It's moving that frequency from they was fucking over us to wait a minute, they ain't fucking over us, we fucking over us because they tricked us into doing it. We just realize, okay, I've been tricked, but I'm not going to be tricked no more. It's okay that I got tricked before because then my eyes couldn't see what my eyes can see now. I'm just not going to let these motherfuckers trick me again. And I'm going to tell any motherfucker that look like me, they come from this land, I can sense them, I can smell them, they love like I love. They level of love and acceptance is the same as mine. That's how I know how to find my clan in the dark with my eyes closed, right? So the people that are always too good for everybody, them ain't my motherfucking people. Ain't no big eyes, no little you with my motherfucking clan. My motherfucking clan for like, goddamn it, you a bad motherfucker and I am too. I'm the greatest motherfucker ever born. For me. But for you, you the greatest motherfucker ever produced. For you. We gotta understand that shit. We are individuals and unique. We can't carry the grudges of other people into our life and take that shit as our own without even understanding why the grudge is there. You reach out to motherfuckers in your family that you ain't never talked to, but you've been hearing their name. You know they related to you. You know that's your cousin so-and-so child that don't nobody talk to no more because she took the side with her husband when he raped that little girl back in the 60s. But now we in 2022 and we need them part of the family and them kids that didn't have nothing to do with her or that nigga doing what that nigga did to that girl. The rest of them kids was innocent and now they taking part of the punishment of being isolated for the family for some dummy, foolish ass shit that these grown, stupid motherfuckers did. You can't hold the children prisoner to the past wrongs of the adult because you won't never make no positive progress into the future. That's just basic motherfucking psychological childhood development 101. I can't stand my motherfucking cousin so-and-so. But his babies and my babies, they best of goddamn friends and they go hang out all the time. And when they have a party, she can go over there. And when they have a party over here, that child come over here. But I ain't never got to talk to that motherfucker again because I don't like what that motherfucker did to me. But that ain't got nothing to do with that child. That's family still. The bond of family just delete that motherfucker for the dirt they did out my mind, but it don't isolate me from that child. It don't isolate that child from access to their cousins and their siblings. And you got motherfuckers now that think it's a privilege to let two siblings know they siblings while they children growing up. That shit not a privilege. That shit mandatory. You got motherfuckers being married 10 years before they find out they siblings because they have some function in the old uncle that been locked up for 40 years. Get the fuck out and say, ain't you so-and-so son? Ain't you so-and-so daughter? Don't you know that them motherfucking mamas had baby by the same goddamn nigga? Y'all brothers and sisters, y'all ain't even know it. Because the motherfuckers is trying this old divide and conquer shit. Kidnapping motherfucking babies in the hospital and putting their goddamn clone babies in the place of them. So motherfuckers thinking, I wonder what's wrong with my child. That ain't your goddamn baby. That's a goddamn motherfucking a made-up species in the laboratory they replaced your baby with so they can go torture your motherfucking baby and make adrenochrome. And you two motherfucking turned off because they cut the umbilical cord for you could goddamn sync to the baby. Because if they hadn't done that dumbass shit, the mother properly sync with the baby got a built-in GPS that's tied directly to the baby. But by clipping the umbilical cord told your subconscious your baby didn't make it. So then they turn around and switch your baby out with this goddamn clone-ass bullshit they done made it in a laboratory somewhere, and you wondering what the fuck wrong with your child. That's not your goddamn child. Then they do the same thing in reverse. They take the good child, put him in a fucked up parent household where the parent not even the same goddamn species and can't understand why they can't communicate with their child. You from two goddamn different species of animal, you dumb motherfuckers. One of you motherfuckers, you reptilian ass hominid masquerading as human motherfuckers, wonder why you can't communicate with an earthborn baby that look like he's unruly because you can't make that motherfucker do what you want him to do. He do what his heart tell him to do, no matter how dumb, stupid, illiterate, ignorant, roguish, criminal behavior, whatever the fuck you want to call it, it look to you, he following his heart to be the motherfucking light in the world according to how he's been taught. And you fucked up and dropped the ball. Nurture does not override nature. You can't teach out of a motherfucker what they was going to be anyway. All you can do is either help them be the best version or make sure that they be the most fucked up version of that self. It's still the same self, it's just that you sent them upside down the path. Because you gave them a bunch of lies to build their life on. In the holidays, you wouldn't monetize that shit, and then you don't tell them the real reason that all of the holidays is what they call pagan rites, and the pagan rite is an earth rite, and pagan is in reference to Pangea when we was all one. So any holiday that they call pagan, that means it's not part of their goddamn agenda of control, so they trying to control it as much as possible by turning it into a goddamn economic pursuit. And we not seeing the shit because we just being motherfucking extras in the goddamn matrix, in the background. What they call them motherfuckers, non-action players. We just all taking a nap. Right? So, the women need to understand, y'all can get this shit back in the day, but the process of you building up your respect level with the other mothers and your competency level with the other mothers raises your rank. By the time you raise high enough to take a city, you can trigger